right, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at review for the regression quiz tomorrow. So we've looked at different forms of regression for this. We've looked at linear, exponential, and quadratic. Okay, so first I've got my table right here. Yours looks a little bit better than mine. All right, we've got our x's, our y's, pretty clearly on here. So the first thing I do is make a scatter plot. Well, the bottom's pretty easy. I can count by ones. It's not a problem. But I can't fit 162 on here if I count by ones. So I took 162, divided by how many 6 marks there are, and counted by 17. Okay? I put my first dot at 1, 6, my second dot at 2, 18, my third dot at 3, 54, and my fourth one at 4, 162. Then I put this information in my calculator. I went to New Document, picked the Add a List and Data, put X and Y at the top, and then entered 1, 2, 3, 4 for X, and 6, 18, 54, and 162 for Y. Then I added a new page by hitting Control Doc. Please don't do that. By hitting Control Doc, I chose 5, which is Data and Statistics. Made the graph make the bottom X, the side Y. After doing that, I hit Menu 4, 6, because that lets me choose my regression. What regression did you guys choose? Should be exponential. Once you choose exponential, your equation pops up for you. Y equals 2 times 3 to x. We then, once we have that information to answer number 3, we put 2 times 3 and raise it to the 5th power, because 5 is x, and we get 486. Okay? Your next worksheet, which is your homework, we will go over before class starts tomorrow. It looks exactly the same. You're given a table of values. You have to graph them in a scatter plot data where you have to make your own scale and everything. And then you have to put it in your calculator, figure out if it's exponential, quadratic, or linear, find your equation, and then plug in a number to be able to figure out what that number is into your equation. I strongly recommend that you use the rest of the time, if you haven't already done so, to put this information in your calculator and figure out what kind of regression it is in the equation, because you can't do that at home. If you don't have a graphing calculator, I don't think like it's at home. There are some available online, but they're not as good. Anybody have any questions? Because I hear lots of talking while I'm talking, which I'm assuming is a question, and not just because you're being rude. Anyone have a question? All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and do that second part of your regression review.